Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Taylor Yetero, and on today's episode, we're going to be covering 5 things that could be potentially stealing your internal peace. If there's anything that I've learned over the past 2 years, I've learned that to determine what kind of fruit you're going to get, you need to go to the root. And so much of our external stressful situations and events can derive from our internal thoughts and an internal turbulence. And if we don't know where these are deriving from, if we don't know the root cause, how can we actually change our results? So I'm going to be giving you guys 5 things that you can start to really consider and maybe even change and modify in your life so that you can start to regain and maintain your internal peace. With that being said, if this is something you would like to see more of, go ahead and give a subscription to my channel, like and comment on this video, guys, because here I am here to share, the things that I've learned when it comes to my mind, when it comes to spirituality and personal development. So I'm so excited to share with you today the 5 things that could be stealing your internal peace. Number 1, guys, to be self-obsessed. Self-obsession is to be completely consumed of yourself, by yourself. And this is coming from a very egotistical state of mind. You're focused on ego, you're focused on your identity and how others are perceiving you, how others are seeing you, and you're really taking that into consideration. You're obsessed with yourself and your identity that you are wanting to conform to. But it's so important to recognize that that is just part of the ego. The ego is important when it helps us to identify who we are, and it makes us feel comfortable and more confident in who we are. But when we become obsessed with it and that's all that we see, it's very hard. It can be a struggle to actually open up your mind to who you can be. Your identity isn't necessarily formed by your beliefs. It's pretty much formed from the time that you were born, by your parents, by your peers, by your environment. So to be completely obsessed with yourself and your results can be causing internal turbulence in your thoughts, because it's natural for us. It's our natural ability to serve others. So to really take away from the obsession of yourself and who you are, ask yourself, who am I impacting? Because we all have a purpose here. So instead of getting caught up in who you are and how others perceive you and how you portray yourself, start focusing on what value you actually provide. Are you living on purpose every single day? And when you've really truly discovered your purpose, are you serving others? Put the focus on how you can help others, and you'll start to see that you naturally just start to have a more peaceful state of mind because you're in harmony with yourself. You're no longer obsessed with yourself and your results and how others are perceiving you. You're focused on, the confidence that you have within yourself. And so you no longer have to overthink anything. You just be. You're in a state of being. So self-obsession is number 1 on the list of things that could be stealing your internal peace. Number 2 is self-talk. How do you talk to yourself on a daily basis? Are you reaffirming yourself of who you are or who you would like to be? Are you taking time out of your day to write this down, to journal it down, and really spend some time with yourself? Or does your self-talk is it just consumed with, how others perceive you, opinions of others? Maybe somebody told you something about you and you've come to believe that, you've come to accept that into your reality. And so now you tell yourself that you're a procrastinator. You tell yourself that you're sad, that you're depressed. How do you talk to yourself on a day-to-day basis? When it comes to your goals, are you encouraging and uplifting to yourself? Do you talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend? Like a friend that you truly love and support, because you do have to give that love to yourself. You cannot rely on your external environment and people outside of you to do that for you. Yes, it's always nice to have that support, but it's so important, and it starts with the self-talk that you have with yourself on a day-to-day basis. So what does your self-talk look like? Improve that, work on that, and definitely start to reaffirm yourself of who you are, who you would like to be, what you're actually capable of, and discover yourself. Number 3 is going to be comparison. Comparison is the thief of all joy. And why is that? Because we take our focus we take our focus from our goals and what we're working towards, and we completely shift it to others and what they are accomplishing. Now, number 1 has to do with self-obsession. But number 3, comparison, we are considering others, but it's in a way where we're making ourselves feel inferior to others. We're comparing ourselves, whether it's physically, intellectually, by their rank, by their income, and we wish that it was us. But do you know what anybody else who has succeeded or who has what you want, do you know what that person has gone through to get there? You really have to ask yourself, do you want that? Are you willing to go through that, to grow through that as well? Understand that you are a unique individual, and there is nobody who can do you like you can do you. And that person that you're comparing yourself to, guys, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. It's actually much greener where you water it and where you nurture it. So instead of comparing yourself to others, whether you think that you're better than them or you think you wish you were them, you're putting yourself in a place where you're just not satisfied with yourself. And it's so important that, yes, dissatisfaction is a state of creativity, but don't put yourself in a place where you feel inferior to others. Know that you have a special gift. Know that others have a very special gift, and it just takes awareness. It takes time to truly discover who you are and the value that you provide to the world, and then start to contribute. Collaborate instead of competing with others. Collaborate with others. If there's something that you admire about somebody else, ask them what it is that they do. Work with them, work closely with them, and tell them that you admire them. Don't spend your time comparing yourself to that person, because that is stealing your internal peace. Number 4 is going to be your perspective or your perception. Your perception is like the lens that you see the world from. Okay, so you're looking through this lens and you have your perception to decide whether or not something is good or bad, positive or negative. And this can truly affect your behavior, your thoughts around the circumstances, events, and people in your life that you have and that you create. These thoughts that you create based off of your perception can literally determine your entire life. Do you consider yourself to be an optimistic person or a pessimistic person? Otherwise, positive person or a negative person? Do you truly look for the silver lining in situations, and do you take creative responsibility for the results in your life? Or do you consider yourself to be a victim, and so you conform to your reality and you don't take responsibility for your results? Responsibility, if you separate the word, is response and ability. You have an ability to respond to a situation in a very calm and confident manner, but it's our beliefs that throw off our perspectives. Your perspective is usually starting from your beliefs, going back to your paradigm and how you grew up and what others have taught you. So your perception can be altered. You don't have to be set in these beliefs or these thoughts. You can actually start to modify that, and you can become a more positive person as you start to look at the world through a more positive lens. So your perspective, your perception can be truly disturbing your internal peace and throwing it off balance, because you're actually accepting these things into your reality when you have the ability to accept or reject absolutely anything into your life and how it affects you. You can decide how far something will affect you. There are things that we cannot control, but we can always control how we respond to everything outside of us. And last on the list of 5 things that could be stealing your internal peace is to be around similar frequencies. And when I say this, when you're in a place that is very turbulent, there's a lot of ambivalence going on in your mind, and you are attracting similar people, you're placing yourself in an environment of people, of places, of circumstances where you're experiencing this regularly. It takes taking yourself to a higher frequency to start to attract higher frequency things and people and places and circumstances. So if you're surrounding yourself by people who are just like you, you have to ask yourself, are you okay with that? Is there any growth in where you currently are? And when you finally make the decision to raise your frequency, you have to reevaluate. You have to decide whether or not you're going to release or let go of some people or some things of the past that kind of hold you in that vibration. And when you're in that vibration, you continue to attract similar things. So as you grow, as you start to grow, you have to grow your environment. You have to pick out the weeds, guys. So are you surrounding yourself with people who are helping you grow? Are you surrounding yourself in a healthy, positive environment? What are you doing to actually put yourself in a more positive mindset? So guys, these are 5 things that could be stealing your internal peace. Be sure to go over this list and really take into consideration what you have allowed into your life and the things that you can modify and change, because you truly do have so much more control over your life and your current reality than you think that you do. It just requires awareness. It requires knowing how to gain internal peace and how to maintain it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to share your feedback with me in the comments. And if you have any tips for me, I am so open to that. Thank you so much for sharing with me. And thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you guys. Have a great week. Have a great day wherever you're at. And I will see you on the next episode.